tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queuing. H2.0. Yeah. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear.
Welcome to the Queendom, H2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and realize. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must.
This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought.
Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me me. Unleash the dragon.
Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
The air is thick with whispers, digital ghosts in the machine. They feed us fiction till our vision's blurred, you know the scene. Static on the screen, a 24-hour scream, selling us a fractured dream, tearing at the seams. They got us locked in little boxes, picking sides, while the real tide rises and nobody hides. Yo, podiums are burning, bridges turn to ash and dust. They trading rhetoric like bullets, banking on our lack of trust. Got us debating pronouns while the planet starts to rust. Got us obsessed with power, drowning in our own disgust. Politicians playing chess with pawns that look like you and me, selling off the future for a bump in their damn GDP. And what we talking about, the foolishness, the vanity, fighting over AI songs, the height of our insanity. A fake voice on a fake beat gets more rage and more ink than a real bomb dropping on a city while we blink. They engineered the outrage, designed it to divide, so we never look up from our phones to see the coming tide. Oh, can you hear the war drums pounding out a rhythm low? They're marching us to battle for a God we do not know. They want us choosing colors, but our blood all runs the same. Just strangers in a mirror whispering a different name. I'm praying for the day the sun won't care what shade we are. That we can see the human heart behind the battle scar. Tear down the flags and see the faces before we run out
safe places.
I see the babies born into this atmospheric hate. Taught to fear they neighbor before they learn to conjugate. Lines drawn in the sand by hands that never touch the soil, while the working class backbone is bent in endless toil. From Ferguson to Palestine, from Kiev to the Sudan. Listen, it's the same damn story, part of the same damn plan. Keep the people fighting over scraps upon the floor, so they never band together and demand a slice of more. They call it patriotism, tradition, call it pride. I call it ancient venom with a modern place to hide. Skin tone is the uniform they gave us for they wore, but the soul inside the flesh is what we should be fighting for. And I'm tired, so tired of singing this eulogy.
Oh, can you hear the war drums pounding out a rhythm, love? They're marching us to battle for a God we do not know. They want us choosing colors, but our blood all runs the same. Just strangers in a mirror whispering a different name. I'm praying for the day the sun won't care what shade we are. That we can see the human heart behind the battle scar. Tear down the flags and see the faces before we run out of safe places.
What if we looked each other in the eye, past the melanin, past the zip codes and the bank accounts they fence us in? What if our only currency was empathy and grace? What if we found our real reflection in a stranger's face? This ain't a lyric, it's a lifeline that I'm throwing out. This ain't a song, it's the beginning of a different route. I'm a daughter of the struggle, a mother of a dream, to wash away the blood and poison from this bitter stream. So turn the volume down on all the noise they try to sell, and listen to that quiet voice inside you know so well. World War III is knocking, they're at the door, but it's not nation against nation anymore. It's ignorance against wisdom, it's love against the fear. The real war is right here.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another video, y'all. I told y'all I'd be back today, and we got some more things to cover. Yes, when it comes to our politics and what is going on in not just my country, but worldwide. It is about 2:15 p.m. here Eastern time in the Carolinas. And actually, y'all, it's pretty cold and windy outside. So I ain't been trying to be out there. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful day in whatever respectful time zone you're in, whether it's morning, noon, night, evening. I hope you're having a good one, y'all. But we do have a few things we're going to get into on this live, y'all. Some things that I've just been seeing, in the news reportings, in the media space, when it comes to what's happening politically. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, y'all. So as you can see, we'll be covering a few topics today. The first topic that we'll be covering, we will be, showing some unfortunate footage of some of these brutal attacks at the hand of ICE agents. If y'all remember, one of the first ones that went viral and everybody found out about was Renee Good. That was talked about a lot. It was a fatal unaliving by ICE agent Jonathan Ross. And Renee Good, she was a poet, a mother, and she was fatally taken out during a traffic stop in her vehicle. And there is video evidence that, contradicts some of the federal claims of domestic terrorism, showing the agent firing into her vehicle as she tried to flee and drive away. Now, that was on January 7th. On January 14th, which was yesterday, just a week later, federal agents were unleashing their weapons, and they pow at a Venezuelan man in the leg in North Minneapolis. DHS claims agents were attacked with a snow shovel. Local officials are calling for an independent investigation, claiming that that is not true. Then we also have Mayor Jacob Frey from Minneapolis, who has been very vocal, famously telling ICE specifically and straight up, get the F out. He is demanding that the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the BCA, be involved because he does not trust the federal government to investigate itself. We also will be getting into some police brutality that happened in Santa Ana. And it's unfortunate because a young reporter by the name of Kaden Rummler was blinded. During a protest against ICE raids on January 9th, a federal agent fired a less lethal projectile, but at very close range, striking 21-year-old Kaden Rummler in the eye. Rummler is now permanently blinded in his left eye because of it. His family reports that agents mocked him as he laid on the ground in distress. While federal officials labeled the protesters rioters, videos show the escalation was sudden and triggered by an agent attempting to drag protesters into a federal building. We also are going to get into a conversation with Tiffany Cross and Roland Martin. And they'll be speaking on the normalization of attacks on Black humanity. Tiffany Cross is sounding the alarm on how mainstream media outlets have sanitized the rhetoric of the Trump era. By framing state-sanctioned violence and discriminatory policies as mere political strategy or difference of opinion, the media effectively strips away the humanity of victims, mostly Black and brown people. Cross argues that if the media doesn't call out the dehumanization of Black people explicitly, they become complicit in the violence that follows. And final, we'll be getting into a wonderful speech from none other than Representative Al Green as he speaks on the ultimate measure of a man. He says, and quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." And y'all, we all know who said that first. It was none other than Martin Luther King. On the House floor, Representative Green used Martin Luther King's quote to address the current administration's Operation Metro Surge. He has officially called for the impeachment of President Trump, citing a grave threat to the safety of the American people and the Constitution. Green is challenging his colleagues. Will you stand for justice when it's dangerous, or only when it's easy. So per usual, y'all know I have some videos to show on these reports. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The very first one I'll be showing y'all is unfortunately the worst one. This is a report from Midas Touch, Ben Masalis. And this is about these ICE powings, and I have to say it that way, that did happen on the 14th. There is raw footage, and so viewer discretion would be advised, and fair use for using this content. But let's go ahead and get into it. This is for political reporting and informational purposes. So let me go ahead and put this up on the screen for you guys, and we will watch it here together. It is very hard to watch, so viewer discretion is advised. Let's get into it.
All hell is breaking loose in Minnesota as Donald Trump's ICE and Border Patrol, Gestapo, SS, paramilitary forces shot 2 more Minnesotans in North Minneapolis last night. In addition, Trump's paramilitary forces that have invaded Minneapolis and St. Paul have unleashed an onslaught of flash bang grenades, chemical ammunitions, pepper spray, and other noxious substances of unknown origin at peaceful protesters there in Minneapolis and St. Paul. We have the receipts. We have it caught on camera. We have the photos. It is so critical that we document what is taking place right now in American history as Trump is unleashing an invasion by paramilitary forces under his regime's control against American citizens and against people who are living in this country. You know that we've done a partnership with Status Quo. They have reporters on the ground bringing you exclusive footage that you are not seeing anywhere else. They've got an incredible team of reporters and videographers. Make sure you support Status Quo. Subscribe to their Substack, subscribe to their YouTube page. Their reporters are getting hit with these flash grenades. They got hit in the face yesterday. They are putting their life in jeopardy to document what is taking place right now in this horrific time in history during this invasion. So I want to show you what went down. Oh, by the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You may think you're subscribed, but hit subscribe right now. In this video from last night, Status Quo captured ICE unleashing an onslaught of flashbang grenades and chemical ammunitions at unarmed Minneapolis protesters in a war-like attack. Several protesters are struck, and the reporter for Status Quo is struck in the head. I got hit in the head really bad. Watch what takes place here. Play this clip.
Oh, I got hit in the head really bad. Oh. Oh. Fuck. Out of the blue, police are moving forward. Shooting, firing. I got hit in the head, man. Been shooting off munitions again. Not quite sure what I was hit in the head by. I was turned, had my back stupidly to the federal officers. So I believe it was something that they threw or fired. Oh.
All right, stay here. Let's. Let me see your hand. Where's
Sorry, we're just checking my head. I don't believe I'm bleeding. I don't think it's that bad. That absolutely horrible. But thankfully, at least was wearing a hat. Let's back up the way a little bit. The gas is coming our way. The gas is coming our way. And they're continually firing off things.
Then you'll see over here, multiple fires have broken out after ICE unleashes another onslaught of flashbang grenades and chemical gas at unarmed Minneapolis protesters in this war-like attack. Here, play this clip right here.
Fired defensive shots to defend his life. Whoa, we got pepper pellets moving. This way. Oh, all around us. Far into the crowd. Whoa, watch out for the car here, John. Yep, watch out for the car though. Come here. Try. Munitions and tear gas have once again deployed. Whoa. Ooh, there's a small fire behind us being set. That's set by the gas canister. Over here. What's up behind you? Come up with.
When my streaming bill hit $180 a month for channels I don't even watch, I didn't get mad. I got friendly.
In this next one, you'll hear the reporter and the people he's interviewing from Status Coup saying, watch out. ICE again last night launched another barrage of flashbang grenades and chemical gas as unarmed Minneapolis protesters duck and run for cover. And of course, this follows what took place last night as the ICE and Border Patrol, paramilitary, Gestapo, the SS, this group of people who can only be described as Nazi-like invasion of American cities, they shot 2 Minnesotans last night, and then they unleashed this barrage of chemical warfare against the people there. Here, play this clip.
Watch out! Whoa. Okay, we're running. Yep. Okay.
Behind the car.
Watch out, really icy. It's again instigated by nothing. There's only a handful of people standing around, talking to each other, maybe sharing some words to the ICE, to the Border Patrol officers. And munitions were, sorry.
All right, y'all. So let's just pause it there for a minute. Like I said, it is a bit difficult to watch. And we do have our trigger warning up. But I'm sorry. I've been seeing these type of attacks. I've been seeing a lot of other attacks as well. And, as my mom stated on earlier in her live, it is kind of difficult for you to be a human being who actually has a heart and cares for other human beings to watch people being treated like this in the streets. It's not deserving. I don't even think animals deserve this type of treatment. That's why I continue to say that in the comment section. But guys, this is what's happening. This is the reality of what people are dealing with in their states, in their cities. And, this is why I like to bring this stuff to the forefront, talk about it, and focus on it. Aside from other things, because I think this is something more important for us to put our attention and focus on. And there's a lot more that I have to bring to you guys to share about other things that are going on. And people are fighting back. People are standing up. People are taking a stance for this, and they're not tolerating it. And so, I do apologize if this is triggering for anyone. It's not my intent to trigger anyone purposely. This is just the reality of what is happening out here in our world, guys. And I think that we should pay close attention to it and have some level of empathy for it. But let's go ahead and move along with the video. It is just about finished. And then we will get into Mayor Jacob Frey's response to all of this. He does respond very rapidly after these things are happening in his state and city. So, we'll get into that video next, but let's go ahead and play the rest of this one, y'all. Viewer discretion is advised.
And next we have footage from status coup of these ICE, Gestapo, these SS, these paramilitary forces arresting 2 teenagers in Minneapolis after they shot people in Minneapolis. You'll see that ICE continues to attack the peaceful protesters and their behavior continues to escalate. Let's play this clip.
Come on, I got you.
Joking!
This way.
Yep, see it. There's a young man arrested.
Same here.
Watch out behind us. Watch out for the ICE as well. Let's get up on the sidewalk. Young Hispanic man, zip-tied or handcuffed.
I'm only 14. So what we got? 14. 14. You're 14 and 15. 15. 14.
What are your guys' names?
What were they?
Trey Sean James of 14 and 15-year-old kids. So I think they were the ones who threw the firecracker. I'm not sure yet. So,
I
but
wouldn't say anything that we're not sure.
we're not sure of anything yet. But we do know that they did just take a 14 and 15-year-old. Yep, they released the kids.
That's what we hear.
Yes.
They were teenagers.
They were teenagers, 14 and 15. They released them and they're back home. So
likely they probably wouldn't have released if they had any evidence that they did anything.
exactly.
So,
yeah.
But also they seem to just
why are
want.
we handcuffing our children? Why is that necessary? Like, what the fuck? Dude, come on. They have nothing on them. He's in a hoodie when he was taken. How's that a threat?
This one's not taken from status coup, but I just want you to see the aftermath. This is from the Minnesota Star Tribune, as some protesters reported being hit with these rounds. You'll see right over here, this area on West 25th and Lindale Ave. You'll see the chemical irritants and the people of Minneapolis choking. Watch what happens here. Here, play this clip right now. Wow. And the night before that, right on the night before, you had federal agents firing flashbang grenades at peaceful protesters outside the federal building in Minneapolis. Play this clip.
Yep. Whoa. Shooting serious munitions at us. Whoa. Yep, I'm right behind you. That really just came out of the blue. No one was really doing anything here. Just think.
Fuck you, pussy! Suck my dick!
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the Midas Touch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popak's new law firm. It's called the Popak Firm. Michael Popak's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Midas Mighty and legal AFers who are approaching Michael Popak with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popak was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popak Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popak's firm is free. Give him a call. See if you have a case. It's thepopakfirm.com, thepopakfirm.com, or you can call 1-877-POPOK-AF, POPOK-AF. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popok a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popok. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in. So then let me show you what was taking place during the day yesterday. So ICE agents were crashing their vehicles intentionally into other motorists who were just driving around Minneapolis. So they would crash their cars at the people, and the people would be hit. They'd usually have like whiplash, and then the ICE agents would just pummel them on the floor. They would just haphazardly beat down on peaceful people. He did not, the hell are you doing? Then ICE would take out their gas and their noxious spray, and they'd start pointing it, and they start pointing their weapons right in the people's faces. And they'll start saying things like, you see what we did to that other lady? This is your last warning. You see what they did? We had someone we interviewed, a status quo interviewed, where they said, you see what we did with that lesbian bitch? That's going to be like you. You see what we did with that lesbian bitch? That's what these ICE Gestapo, these SS, these disgusting, vile paramilitary forces are saying. Here, play this clip.
EVE Online is a...
I'm pressed. We are pressed. We are pressed. We are pressed.
And here they are again on scene in Minneapolis as shots were reportedly fired last night by ICE. One resident told the folks at Status Quo, ICE shot a kid. He was just trying to run away from them, and they started shooting at the kids. They started shooting at the children. Here, play this clip.
Not quite sure what the situation is there. They were there when we arrived. They seem to be cuffed. So what, do you know what happened on the ground here?
I think that they shot a kid. They shot a kid. They were trying to run away from them, and they shot at them. That's why we're here right now, because it's unacceptable that they start shooting kids now. They start shooting kids from the back now. We can't fucking let this happen.
Was this part of a raid, or was this just one of their...
It is because they stopping people... they just stopping people randomly on the streets, and they were heading home, and they start fucking shooting at them because they were trying to run away from them. That's why. That's why.
Yep. There's Border Patrol officers in full camo. They're armed with... What? A couple of them have night vision.
Put the microphone
Yes.
for what they're saying. Dude, what are you doing? What made you sign your oath and do this to us? Is your dick that small? Is it? Did your uncle touch you at Christmas? You fucking bitch. Get out, man! Move it! Terrorize our community! Get the fuck out of here, bitch!
Pepper spray was sprayed.
Don't be a terrorist, pussy! You pussy little man! You're a pussy little man!
Here's somebody on scene that Status Quo interviewed in Minneapolis who said the real criminals are ICE. Play this clip.
The real criminals is ICE. They're the real murderers. I mean, we don't have nothing to fend with. We don't have guns. They have the law protecting them. What do we have? What are they scared of? Why are they killing people? Why are they shooting people? We have nothing to fend with.
What brought you out here tonight? Are you part of one of the community?
Because it's another person shot. Or they're killing people. They're killing people. They're killing my people just because of their skin color. Even if we're citizens, they don't care. They're fucking racist.
Here's another person that Status Quo was able to speak with who says, they're coming in our neighborhoods. They're shooting us. They're killing us. The hell is happening here? It's supposed to be the United States of America. Watch this, play this clip.
Did you get some chemical on it?
A little bit when they're just shooting right here. But you know what? Hey. I want everybody to listen up right here. This happened right here in our own community on 24th and Lindale. Just the north side. Just the heart of the community, yo. Everybody screaming out, this ain't our fucking problem. This is our fucking problem. This is our fucking fight. They're coming in our neighborhoods, going door to door, and they're shooting, and they're killing us. What part don't anybody understand? It don't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Hmong, Somali, they're killing us. I should not be in our neighborhood. This should not be in our community.
Then you have a Minneapolis protester in a Pickle Rick costume saying they may have guns and pepper spray, but there's more of us out here. We're scared, but we're not backing down. Play this clip.
A Pickle Rick costume. Why is that?
I'm wearing it because I'm showing them how absolutely silly this whole thing is. But I am also representing the geek society of Minnesota, all my friends from Convergence. We're coming out, we're showing you what Minnesota looks like. This is what Minnesota looks like. We are geeky, we are proud, and we're fucking mad at ICE. I mean, yeah, they've got guns and pepper spray, but there's more of us out here. And yeah, I admit, we are scared, but we are not going to back down. And I know my community feels the same way. That's why they are out here. We will protect our city. We will protect our neighbors.
And we do remember at the end, Pickle Rick did win.
Well, Pickle Rick always wins in the end. And he learns his lessons too. He makes mistakes, but he stands up against anarchy.
Then there was a protest in front of the hotel where the ICE Gestapo are staying at. And the protesters were screaming, "Get out, F ICE, F ICE." Here, play this clip right here.
We are right up against the doors. I think the security's gone inside at this point. There's a printed out sign on the one of the exits that reads, "We respect all parties' rights to express their points of view in lawful and non-disruptive manners, and we are simultaneously committed to protecting our employees and guests' safety and security. After 3 p.m. on January 13th, all guests must enter and exit through the west entrance located the closest to the front desk." I feel like they might have had, this is a nicely printed out sign. I feel like they might have known something like this was happening.
And I'll just show you what's going on across the country. I could show you numerous other examples like this, but this is from Mississippi, where ICE just putting a minor child in handcuffs, a U.S. citizen, for speaking Spanish. So they report, "We were stopped by an undercover vehicle. The agent opened the passenger side door and forcibly removed my little sister. When she attempted to present ID, he snatched the documents from her hand." Here, play this clip right here.
The guys took her without even asking her, literally. Literally took her without even asking for her documents. She's a minor. Literally. Look at them. We got stopped supposedly because of our vehicle that's a rental. Make it make sense.
That's what's going on right now. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Remember, support our partners at Status Quo. They've got those reporters on the ground capturing this footage, putting their lives at risk. Subscribe to their Substack, subscribe to their YouTube page, and thank you so much for watching.
All right, y'all. So that was just some footage of things that have been going on at the hands of these ICE officers. And it's not all of them, to be very clear. Some are doing their job the proper way, with a level of humanity and integrity and care. And then there's these other group of, I don't know what to call them, that are taking things to the extreme. And we know who's leading that charge. So we're going to go ahead and get into Major Jacob Frey response to all of this in just a moment. But we're going to take a quick song break first. After the song break, we will get into that video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do apologize for that, pretty graphic video, but it is the truth of the matter of what's going on. And we just have to face it and pay attention to it. We can't just pretend like it's not happening. But anyway, let's take this song break and we'll be right back.
In every language, the boot is the same on any soil. They draw lines on maps, then act surprised when hearts refuse to be divided. This isn't a new story. It's just our turn to write the ending.
Same black vans from Santiago up to Syria. Aim algorithms of hate creating mass hysteria. It's a global franchise, the oppression is syndicated. Borders drawn in boardrooms by men who've never waited in the line for bread or fled a home that's burning bright. They selling fear as virtue in the pale moonlight. Dehumanize the target, make them stats on a spreadsheet so you don't see the soul when they're dragged out in the streets. The neo-colonial, the digital plantation, use the laws like whips to break the back of every nation. This is ice cold hearted. The tactic is corporate, the hatred is faceless. A global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces, but the people united will never be vanquished. Cold hearted. History's watching from all of our places. We know the system and all of its bases. The people united will never be vanquished. See the specter of Columbus in the mining corporations. Hear the echoes of old empires and the peacekeeping stations. From the Congo to the Amazon, the scars are still pigmented. They carved the planet up and wonder why the world's fragmented. Drew a line through Africa, a line through Palestine. Now they build a concrete wall and say the side ain't thine. It's the same old story, profit over people. The steeple on the church is just as tall as the evil. They want our rhythm, our culture, our spice and our labor, but want us silent and grateful when we ask to be a neighbor. This is ISIS cold hearted. The tactic is corporate, the hatred is faceless. A global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces. The people united will never be vanquished. Cold hearted. History's watching from all of the places. We know the system and all of its bases. The people united will never be vanquished. What is a home? Is it the dirt beneath your feet? Or the rhythm of a heart that makes your own heart beat? Sacred heartbeat. They can take the soil, they can legislate the soul, but humanity's a fire that they never can control. A change is coming, oh, the whole world is rumbling. So word, roll on, the hatred is faceless. Global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces. Global united, united be vanquished. Cold hearted, history's watching from all over places. We know the system and all of its bases. The people united will never be vanquished.
So now the question comes to you. When the knock comes for your neighbor,
What will your hands do? The time for quiet anger is over. The time for action is now. Look to your brother, your sister. Their struggle is yours. Their future is yours. From the streets of Fayetteville to the heart of the world, our pulse beats as one drum. So stand up. I'm so lost, but
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this next video. This one I said is going to be Mayor Jacob Frey, and he's giving the press conference right after this latest attack that we just seen and witnessed here in real time on the live. So let's go ahead and get into what he has to say. I've got to tell you guys, I really love this mayor. I think he holds the right set of energy and response when it comes to these things, and he does just about all he can to fight against it, which is what we all do. We do the best that we can to fight against this type of stuff. It's only so much sometimes you can do, even as a mayor, but he does speak from his heart, and he stands up for what is right for his people. And so let's go ahead and get into his commentary after this, and then we'll be right back.
There's still a lot that we don't know at this time, but what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to find a way forward to keep people safe, to protect our neighbors, to maintain order. And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another. Why are we put in this position? We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis, far fewer that are able to work at any given time. And there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in the area. 3,000. The 600 police officers that we have are charged on any given day with investigating crime, stopping homicides from taking place, preventing carjackings. That's the work of a police officer in a city. Meanwhile, we have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos. This is not the path that we should be on right now in America. Thankfully, there's another path. And I want to talk to everybody who's out there, even people who aren't living in Minneapolis right now. Maybe you just put your kids to bed. Maybe you're cleaning up the dishes. I'm sure you love your family. There's no doubt in my mind that you love your town. Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. The local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart. Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare. This is not creating safety. It's certainly not creating safety when a huge percentage of the shootings that have taken place so far this year in Minneapolis have been by ICE. So let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. And I have seen thousands of people throughout our city peacefully protesting. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you. For those that are taking the bait, you are not helping, and you are not helping the undocumented immigrants in our city. You are not helping the people that call this place home.
There's so much to do on Adapted Mind Math. Come see. First, you get to make your
ICE can leave, and this massive deployment can come to an end. We have filed litigation to hopefully make it so, and at the same time, I'm deeply concerned that we don't have that kind of time. This is already the second shooting that we've had in a week. People are scared. The atmosphere is tense. But again, there is another option. We can stop going down this route together. We'll open it to any questions.
So there were reports initially that there was more than one person shot. That is not true. There is one person that's been shot. It is a non-life-threatening injury, and they have been transported to the hospital. The remainder of the residents has been cleared. We did have one call of, I believe, a woman having an anxiety attack in the basement of the same residence, the same building. To my understanding, no one else has been transported to the hospital. To my understanding, no.
DHS has said that 2 other people came out of an apartment and started attacking the officer with shovels, and that the original person that they were looking for also did that. What is your investigation told you so far?
So the question was that people had come out of the residence and attacked federal law enforcement with shovels. The understanding that we have at this time is that this incident began on 94. The individual drove towards the residence, had some sort of accident outside the residence, ran towards the house, and got into a struggle with federal law enforcement. I believe there's a broom and like a snow shovel that's on the scene. And yes, I have heard information that that some individual, at least one person, may have assaulted federal law enforcement. Yes. I am not aware if that's the same person who was shot or if that's someone else. The question was, will MPD be doing an investigation of what happened? I requested the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Investigation, Criminal Apprehension to respond, and they are on scene. The question was about unlawful protesting. It has absolutely become an unlawful assembly. There are individuals throwing fireworks at police officers, individuals throwing ice, rocks, other projectiles at police officers. It is well past the line, and people need to leave.
What kind of communication, if any, of you have with federal law enforcement?
The question was communication with federal law enforcement tonight. That communication was all on the scene. It was primarily related to trying to ensure that we were getting medical aid because we had a report of a shooting, and then also to try and ensure that we could maintain the integrity of the crime scene so that there could be an investigation into what occurred.
Do you know what the condition of the person shot is? And we're also told that Asian was injured and taken to the hospital. Do you have any updates on either condition?
I have no updates on either condition. It's my understanding that this is a non-life-threatening gunshot wound.
Can you talk about anything you know about that initial stop that started on 94, that initial chase, if you will, and anything you know about the person that they were following?
So I know nothing about the person that they were following. And then the rest of the question was about the initial chase. It's my understanding that we have some other 911 call indicating that someone from the house was calling, saying that the person in the car was running from ICE. It was driving towards the residence. That's my understanding.
Did Mayor Frey respond to criticism that local officials are contributing to
What rhetoric? So the question was, can I respond to rhetoric? What rhetoric?
There's rhetoric from local officials that they say has just kind of taken up the temperature of everything that's going on.
So the question was, there has been the accusation that local officials have perhaps taken up the temperature in Minneapolis. First, I'll say, show me a single place where I have encouraged anything other than peace. Show me a single place where we have encouraged violence. I have said from the get-go to people in Minneapolis, do not take the bait. We are better than that. I have encouraged peaceful protest, and I'll say it again, I am inspired by the tens of thousands of people who have in fact peacefully protested and fairly documented with transparency what is taking place. That is allowed in any city in the country. And I have made it clear that to the extent people are going beyond that, and those protests are not peaceful, and the violence that the chief mentioned, it's got to stop, and you got to go home.
Two more questions.
If this situation is not sustainable, as you said a few minutes ago, where do you go from here? What options do you as mayor have from this point forward?
Yeah. So just yesterday or the day before, I'm losing track of the days here, Minneapolis, along with St. Paul and the Attorney General's office at the state, filed a lawsuit. That lawsuit outlined the duress that our city is presently experiencing and how making people safe in our city is made all the more difficult based on the presence of ICE. We are.
All right, y'all. So just a little quick commentary from what I have observed and seen from Mayor Frey. I've never seen him encourage violence or encourage people to, get out in the streets and fight and take action. My question is to individuals, anybody, doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter what state, doesn't matter what country, anybody, when enough is enough and you sit in a city or a space and you have to bear witness and undergo abuse, unwarranted abuse at the hands of police officers, ICE officers, any group or organization that feels as though they can just come into your city, your town, and where you and your family, your friends live safely and comfortably and wreak havoc on you. How much of that do you expect people to take before they may actually have to defend themselves? Self-defense is a thing. There is a law. There are laws in place for people to be able to defend themselves when they are being attacked. And this is not legal attacks. These people are coming after people based off of racial profiling, because of the skin tone, because of their nationality, right? Because they look the type or they look like they fit the description. The same way people get unalived and harmed and hurt when police officers come after them because they feel as though they fit the description. Racial profiling. It's the same thing that's being done. First, it started with the police. Now it's not just the police. Now it's the police and ICE officers doing this to people. So what are we supposed to do as people? Just lay down and take it? If people are defending themselves, I don't see anything wrong with that. And again, when we're talking about ICE, we're talking about a group that is supposed to be, and I think should be, in a humane way, if they have to practice the law and follow the rules, detain people in a safe way, not wreak havoc and harm over people. And a lot of these people that are being attacked and detained are actually citizens of this country. So therefore, it's null and void. They're coming after people that don't need to be came after. Basically, in my personal opinion, from my understanding of how I see these things going down. And let's just be clear. If there is, or there happens to be, a immigrant or something like that that may, not have the proper paperwork or done things the proper way, which I don't agree with. That's not my words, y'all. That's not how I feel. I don't even see why any of that needs to be put in place in the first place. That's my personal opinion. But this is the way they try to do things here, in these countries and stuff. So even if they happen to be somebody that they would say by their standing needs to be detained, you don't do it this way. You don't wreak havoc and harm on people, abuse people. It's not right. It's inhumane. And I don't care whichever way it goes. A lot of the people don't deserve to be even approached because they are citizens. And even if they happen to be immigrants, you don't treat them like that. Period. So to me, it's wrong either way. There's nothing you can say to justify this type of treatment and how these people are going under this type of treatment. And a lot of people are not getting to wake up the next day to see the sunrise. That's what it's ending in, fatalities. That's never acceptable. That's never okay. I don't care. And then the gaslighting of it all, trying to make it seem like because citizens may have just gotten fed up and scared enough where they realize they have to defend themselves against this type of attack and violence. Now, all of a sudden, this mayor, this city is supposed to be encouraging violence. That has never been said. That has never been pushed. But people will always defend themselves when they feel as though they are being attacked or they are in harm's way. Sometimes it takes some longer to get there. Some have immediate response. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you should not be coming at someone all gun-ho. And we have all of these fatalities now that we have to bear witness to on the news. We have people that are losing their children. We have people that are losing their mothers. We have people that are losing their fathers. We have people that are losing their grandparents. We have people that are losing their nieces and their nephews and their cousins. They're losing family members at the hands of all of this. What can you expect from a person? And it's continuing to happen with no end. What can you expect? And I know there's people out there that move and operate the same way. Let's be very clear about it. Be open and honest. You probably will hurt somebody for much less. Let's be clear about that. But when you see this type of abuse happening to someone, do you think that someone's just going to sit there and continue to take it, laying down and not try to defend themselves and live to see another day so they can be there for their babies, live to see another day so they can be there with their spouse, live to see another day so they can be there with their parents? Or no, we supposed to just be what? Roadkill and slaughter. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And then we see the gaslighting. Oh, people are inciting violence. Who's inciting the violence? Because it wasn't violent before the ICE agents showed up, start wreaking havoc over the cities, the states, and the towns. It wasn't violent then, was it? Or not to this extent. There's always going to be a little bit of violence somewhere. That's life. That's the world. That's humanity, unfortunately. But not to this extreme, not to this level, not being played out this way. We know it's not right in the core of our hearts. We bear witness to it, and we know something has got to give. Anyway, let's keep going.
Hopeful that we will succeed ultimately in that lawsuit. Of course, my concern is that yet another shooting will take place. Yet another person will be injured or killed. This is not a new concern. The chief and I have been laying this concern out for well over a month at this point. This is not sustainable. Our officers, they are working tirelessly. Again, we have about 600 officers. There's about 3,000 ICE agents in border control. We need our officers responding to the basic day-to-day 911 calls. We don't have the capacity to both deal with that and all of this conduct that we're seeing from ICE on the daily basis. Earlier today and yesterday, I was out on a couple of major commercial corridors in our city. People are scared. there's basic rights that you should have to be able to live safely in your neighborhood, to be able to go downstairs and head to the cafe or the flower shop. The people that would normally keep up these shops, American citizens, by the way, many of them, are terrified because American citizens are getting picked up off the street by people in masks. That's not the way things should be conducted in any city in America. That's not who we are. That's not America. So I'm calling for peace. Everybody has a role in achieving that peace. And we're going to try to do everything that we can to keep it. Yes, our office, yes, is in touch with the governor's office, as we've been for the last week here. He has been an excellent partner in both ensuring that we have additional resources through the Minnesota State Patrol, through the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and that work will be done in partnership. Thanks, everybody.
We'll have more information.
All right, y'all. So that was the conclusion of what Mayor Frey had to say about, all of the things that have been happening that we have to realize are not just happening in Minneapolis, they're happening across the country. Okay. And I know that some of these standards and things that have been happening in other countries far before they started happening here. And so I do feel for that as well. I don't think it's right anywhere. This is not a United States thing. This is a humanity thing. Nobody should ever be treated like this or have to live under these conditions, no matter where you live in this big, beautiful globe that God created. And so, yeah, enough is enough. People are getting sick of it, and they're standing up for their rights, and they're trying to defend themselves so they can live to see another day. Nobody should be getting slaughtered in the streets like this. Now, let's hear from, and we'll go into our next video, a protester that was struck with a pow-pow weapon and blinded by federal agents in the OC. This is an interview that he did, and we'll hear from him as he speaks out. He sits down to have a conversation with Chris Wolf. He was a protester that was outside of a federal building in Santa Ana. And on January 9th, he was attacked and pow-powed in the face to where now he's blind in one eye due to the attack. So let's go ahead and get that video pulled up. And let's hear from him the terror. Let's hear from him the experience that he had, because this is what is happening. Thank God he's still with us and he's not gone. But look at all of the trauma that gets left behind. Look at how your life is changed forever after these type of experiences. It's not right. No one should be treated this way. But let's get into the video.
Yeah.
K-A-D-E-N.
Yeah, Kaden.
Do you want to give us your last name?
Sure. Rummler.
Okay, spell that, please.
Rummler.
Okay, you are 21.
Yes, I'm 21.
Okay. Tell us about just what hit you. Do you know what hit you, and what are you going through?
They called it a PSL bullet. We tried to contact them to know what kind of metal it is and what it is, and they kind of not let us know. Like, my doctor tried to contact DHS, and they gave her a phone number, and then that person gave her a phone number, and that person gave her a phone number, and then that phone number went to nothing. And my dad went to the office and tried to ask them about it, and they kind of just wouldn't let it tell him anything. So
okay. Basically, I think they call this a less than lethal round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
I remember when it hit me, I kind of didn't realize what happened, really. I remember falling to my knees, and I remember covering my head, and it was just like this pressure and this ringing in my ear, and like everything just started muffling, and like, I don't know, it felt kind of surreal in the sense. I felt like, I think I had so much adrenaline from the impact that I wasn't really fully feeling it yet, I don't think.
Did you know you were bleeding profusely?
I felt like a lot of warmth on my face, but like I couldn't really tell that I was bleeding quite yet. It wasn't until he started dragging me when I really felt it and knew I was bleeding.
What were you saying in that moment
When he was dragging me?
Yeah.
Well, this was closed and it was choking me, and I was trying to grab at it, and I was like, I can't breathe, and he just kept dragging me and didn't say a word. So
What are your thoughts? What's going through your mind right now?
Right now, well, I'm not really sure. Mostly trying to remember and make sure I get the details right and stuff. Trying like going over it in my mind. I've been going over it a lot lately. It's, kind of sucks having to relive it over and over to tell all these people, but it's something that I think needs to be done. So.
Were you given medical attention quickly? What happened after you were dragged into the building?
Once I was dragged into the building, he had me like down on the floor, and I remember seeing this pile of blood. It was like really dark, coagulated blood. It was like a pile bigger than my face, and like he pushed my head into it like this, and he just held me there, and then with his free hand, he was on top of me, and he was putting my hands behind my back really aggressively and handcuffing me. And I was pleading with him. I was like, call an ambulance. Please call an ambulance. There's so much blood. Please call an ambulance. I'm going to bleed out. Please call an ambulance. He didn't say a word. He's completely silent.
Did he ever mock you? Was he saying, you're going to be blind in that eye?
Well, that was, when that happened, it was people, I couldn't see at this point, so I don't know who it was, but when they took me outside to go to the ambulance, which wasn't there yet, I was standing out in the cold, leaning against a rail, and they wouldn't let me sit because they were like, you won't be able to get up. So they made me stand, and I had no shoes on, and I was cold and shivering, and two people were talking. I couldn't see them. I couldn't see anything. And they kind of like said, like, they were like chuckling and saying how I won't ever get to see out of my left eye again, just chuckling about it. And I remember saying, shame on you guys for laughing at the fact that I'll never see again. Shame on you. And after that, they kind of shut up and went silent.
How long did you wait before the ambulance came? Do you know?
I was really out of it. I was just trying to focus on staying conscious. So I'm not entirely sure, but it was at least 30 minutes.
Skip doubling up on the pull-on underwear. It traps moisture and can cause skin irritation. Instead, try this.
Well, can you tell us about your injuries now and the prognosis? Will you be blind in that eye for life?
From what I've heard the doctors say and everyone else, yes, I will be blind for life. They said my globe was ruptured. I had my lower lid was cut up, and they had to take skin from my temple to fix it. There's a lot to it. I don't remember all the things that they said. I have fractures in my skull that they can't fix, and I can't sneeze or cough because it's dangerous too. I remember also when I shot, there was pepper in it, and I had pepper down my throat. It made it hard to breathe for a long time. They pulled a piece of plastic the size of a nickel out of my eye. They said I had shards of metal, glass, and plastic all throughout my eye and behind my eye and in my skull. And they also said that I had a piece of shrapnel metal about a few millimeters away from my carotid artery. And they said it was a miracle I survived, because if it got any closer, if it hit that, I would have died that night.
Totally blind right now? You see nothing out of the eye?
Nothing out of this eye. Yeah, it's black.
What are your thoughts on getting shot like this and the level of force that was used?
It was completely unnecessary. Like I said, I'm like 5'1", I weigh 102 pounds. Just a push would have done enough to get me back, and it's completely unnecessary to shoot me point blank in the face and my eye, only a few feet away from me. I think he was trying to kill me. I fully believe he was trying to kill me. So.
Will this change your methods going forward in terms of activism, protests? Is this having any impact on that part of your life?
No, I won't let it. I won't let them silence my voice. I will keep going to these protests and chant and do the chants and speak out and tell people what they need to hear, I guess. You know.
You're part of a group called Dare to Struggle, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us a little bit about the group?
They advocate for social justice. They do protest against police killings, like the one of Albert Arzola, the 19-year-old who was shot and killed by Anaheim PD right, I think it was around his birthday. It was really sad. They've been protesting for Renee Good, and yeah, they're really good people. I would trust them with my life.
I read your father's heartfelt statement on Facebook saying he's a conservative Republican. You're a liberal Democrat, if that's fair to say.
I would call myself a leftist more so.
A leftist?
Yeah.
But that he believes in the rule of law and supports law enforcement, but says this was not right and that people should be treated fairly.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your father speaking out for you?
That's fine. He's his own person. He can say what he wants to say, I guess. That's all I have to say to that.
All right, now I guess we'll go to John. And let me make this here. Thank you, Kaden. Okay. All set? All right, can you spell your first and last name and just tell us what you do? And
John Washington, John, Washington, like the state. I'm a civil rights lawyer, and myself and my colleagues are representing Kaden currently and exploring all our options.
Are you based here in Southern California, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, out of Los Angeles.
Are you considering legal action against DHS? What's going on here?
We're currently investigating and keeping all of our options open, including legal action.
What is your summation on what happened to Kay?
I mean, I think anyone who sees the video can tell. I think it's just completely unjustifiable use of force, and the force used was, as you just heard from about the injuries, was lethal force, and there's no justification for it in these circumstances. Kaden is a 100-pound, 21-year-old who's
5'1",
5'1",
right? Yeah. Who's only holding a megaphone and wasn't a threat to the officer. And we're still working out the details of what specifically Kaden was shot with, but it's clear that you cannot aim one of these weapons at someone and shoot them in the face, let alone point blank.
It was just a few feet away.
Yeah.
And it was almost instant from the footage I saw. You rushed after your friend who was being dragged away, and then almost like that.
Yeah, it happened so fast. I didn't even have time to process it. I didn't realize what it was for a while until I started dragging me, and then I started coming to the realization.
What is your message? Do you have a message right now for anyone watching at all?
I think just that this is completely unacceptable. There's no justification for this use of force. There's protesters in Southern California and elsewhere are trying to have their voices heard. I think the irony was that Kaden was protesting excessive force from ICE and then was brutally shot in the face. So I think this cannot continue.
They officially call it less than lethal round, but in your opinion, it was a lethal round. Is that what you're saying?
So less than lethals are called less than lethals when you're using them how they're supposed to be used. These weapons are not supposed to be aimed within a couple feet and fired on someone's face. And this appears to be intentional. I mean, you can watch it from the video. So they're called less than lethals because they are still lethal sometimes, and that's when you're using them correctly. This is obviously not how you're supposed to use these weapons. So it's very much a lethal use of force. And as Kaden described, it came very close to being lethal in this instance.
If shards had gotten into...
Well, I think there are shards, but
they can't operate on it because it's the risk of dying is too high. So I will always have metal shards in my head.
Yeah, if they were to go into your brain, then that could be
I mean, like I said, I have that one still in there that's right next to my carotid artery. They can't take that out. And also, we don't know if the metals have neurotoxins in them because they won't tell us what's in them. My doctors are worried about that. And honestly, I don't know what's going to happen if they do have neurotoxins because, like I said, it's too dangerous to operate on them. I might be stuck with those metals in my head. And if they are neurotoxins, I don't know what will happen, honestly. I don't know.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, John, that we didn't get to?
I don't think so. I don't know if you have anything more.
I do want to say one more thing. I
Okay,
remember.
hang on one second.
As close as possible.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few things I still want to say. First off, I remember when they put me in the chair at the DHS office. I remember feeling like I was losing consciousness, and one of the few things that I felt kept me alive and kept me conscious was listening to my friends out there still chanting and still keeping the energy going and listening to them. Is like that was all I could focus on, and that's the only thing that really kept me. I think that kept me alive was focusing on their voices. I also want to mention how painful it was in the hospital. When I did get to the hospital, in the ambulance ride, in the ambulance ride, when I got to the ambulance, when they got there, they covered me in a sheet, and I remember she kept trying to take it off, and they kept recovering me. And my friends thought I was dead because it looked like a body bag. And then in the ambulance, I kept begging them for pain meds, but they couldn't give me any because they need a doctor to prescribe them. And I remember screaming and kicking in agony in that ambulance ride to the hospital. And then when I got to the hospital, they gave me so many drugs. They told me they gave me enough to have killed me, and I was still screaming and kicking in agony and sobbing. And I went through cycles of where the pain meds would work, and I'd be fine for a few hours, and then they would wear off, and I would spend 30 to 40 minutes screaming, crying, and kicking in pain. And then it would happen again when they give me the pain meds, and it was a cycle. And I've only been released yesterday. They had to keep me an extra day because of the pain, how bad it was. And then they had to keep me another day because they were worried about neurotoxins. But since they couldn't figure out, they ended up just letting me go home.
So you were in the hospital a total of how
long? From Friday night till yesterday afternoon.
Okay, so several days.
Yeah.
Basically 4 days, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty bad there.
I can imagine.
Yeah. It's a lot of pain.
All right, y'all. So at the final part of the video, it's not me. I'm not sure what's going on, but the sound has gone out. As they are explaining what happened. And so I know y'all can't hear any audio at this point, but it's not the audio on my side. I think it's the video, and I'm not sure what happened, but it's just about over. It's only like 1 minute left. So I'm just going to finish this off. We'll take a song break, and then we'll get into Tiffany Cross and her sit down and conversation with Roland Martin.
You know your business better than anyone, right? So why not build an app to run it with Base 44? This finance
All right, y'all. So that was the end of that video. They had, I guess, some sound issues there at the end. So we didn't hear the final, statements or whatnot that was being said. But I believe we were able to hear enough throughout the whole interview of how, traumatic these attacks can be and the war scars that are left after, if people are lucky enough to still have their lives. But anyway, we're going to take a quick song break and then we will get into the next video. So like I said, we'll be playing Tiffany Cross, sitting down, having a conversation with Roland Martin, and talking about how media normalized attacks on Black humanity within this Trump area. We'll get into that next after this song. We'll be right back.
It's enough. Check the pulse of the nation, feel a tremor in the ground. Another hollow promise, another hateful sound. The burner phones are buzzing, the leak DMs exposed. The country club whispers about the people in their robes. They smiling for the cameras, preaching unity and grace. We're drafting legislation to keep you in your place. The dog whistles the sirens, now the hoods are in the open. Igniting tiki torch shadows, leaving spirits broken. They wanna turn the clock back to a time of guilt and pain, where progress is a dirty word and fear is how they reign. But every soul they try to crush just learn to stand up straighter. This ain't a game of politics, this is gladiator. Enough is enough. The whispers turn into the heat. My fist is getting shut up. Enough is enough. We're the people at the table filling up our cup. This ain't about a party, the lines are clearly drawn. It's the light against the darkness that's coming for the dawn. Holy versus evil is the truth against the lie. We ain't backing down with a fire in the sky. They coming for the libraries, wanna burn away the facts. Erase the bloody chapter so you can't see the tracks. They gerrymandering the district, drawing every map. Your vote is just an echo caught inside the power trap. They purging names from voter rolls and calling it secure, while scream about election fraud to keep their motives pure. They wanna legislate the scars upon a woman's soul, and own the very choices that were never theirs. Control from the classroom to the courthouse, a calculated scheme to suffocate the promise of the American dream. But they forgot the dream was dreamed by rebels and by slaves, and their spirit is the very ground that trembles in their graves. Enough is enough. They call it policy, they call it survival, we call it tyranny. They stand on podiums with a Bible in their hand, but don't know the first thing about the soul of this land. This is for the teacher hiding books up on the shelf, for the doctor taking notes to more than just himself. This is for the dreamer facing down an ice patrol, for every ancestor's prayer that paid a spirit's toll. Their power is an illusion, a fortress made of glass. Our strength is in the future, they are terrified to let pass this hurricane of justice, an earthquake of the soul. It's a holy fire raging, and it's out of their control. Enough is enough. Standing to the ground that you can't stand. Enough is enough. We the people at the table filling up our cup. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
I came over to the other side of our set here, so they're getting the shot all straight. Sitting here, chatting. Tiffany, what's up?
Bro, I'm so happy to be here. I want the audience at home to know this studio is so amazing. It's so expansive and fancy and got a fireplace. And if you will never be confused about what you played.
You got that right.
I feel like I'm in the alpha frat house right now.
Damn Skippy.
I love it. I love me some y'all, so it's okay.
You damn Skippy. Hey, Terrell, I need you to turn television around. So, folks, we are, of course, glad to have Tiffany here. There's lots of I want to talk about. But the first thing I want to talk about, Tiffany, we're going to talk about your upcoming book.
Yeah.
We're going to do with that. But the thing that I got to deal right now is how sorry, trifling, and pathetic these media people are today.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to show in a second. Donald Trump was going somewhere and said F you to a Ford worker and shot the finger at him. And I remember how these people lost their damn mind over deplorables, how they lost their mind when Biden said stuff. And this man is shameful, despicable, pathetic, how he attacks folk. And they don't say nothing. And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, no big deal. And if a Democrat president said or did the things that this man does, it would be wall-to-wall craziness every single day.
Yeah, I understand the desire to put a political label on it, but honestly, Ro, I feel it's more racial. Because when I say they, I mean them, I mean white people, white-run newsrooms. And it's really difficult, as you know, to be the first to say it. So often we are the first person to say, I remember in 2016, all of us were saying Trump is a bigot. And that was a controversial statement to make at the time. Well, do you believe us now? We're still saying the same things. Also, we're seeing with the capitulation of media, and so many of us are leaving the industry, being fired, being kicked out of the industry. It's heartbreaking to see. So even today, if you look across newsrooms, only 6% of reporting staff are Black. So if you disaggregate that, that means even less Black men in the newsroom, even less Black women in the newsroom. And I'm so frustrated with it, Roland, because this is our path to democracy. This is what protects democracy, transparency. And so when I see time and time again, the media uplift and give a microphone to someone who's ill-informed, has no idea what they're talking about, who looks like us, they only do that in our community. You and I have talked about this many times. And then normalize what we're seeing happening, the core pillars of our democracy fall apart. Listen, the media has never really been kind to us or fair to us. And so often what's considered fair and unbiased is rooted in what's white and male. So this is not new to us, but when we see how it's impacting lives and livelihoods, it's devastating to witness. I'm so frustrated. I've always wanted to be the Brown Murphy Brown. And so to see CBS fall under this below average ass white woman who has no idea what she's doing, Barry Weiss doesn't know how to run a newsroom. And this is why your show, your entire career, Ro, you have always lived in service to Black people and Black liberation. You're one of the first people to put me on television. You give a voice to people, a platform to people, you uplift issues. So if there any Black thing that's happening in America, the Ro-mobile is there. Well, and that's so important right now.
Well, and the thing is, like, perfect example. So Trump, we talked about on the show yesterday, Trump made these comments about oh my God, how the Civil Rights Act was just so bad to white people.
Yeah.
Non-story.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, no big deal. Like, okay, fine. He said it. That's it. And I'm sitting there going, y'all want to dissect that? And I was having a conversation with a host on a network. And this is what the host literally said to me, that it's so much. It's so many different things, they can't cover it all. I said, wait, I'm confused. I said, if you're a broadcast network and now you have digital, you got 24 hours. If you're a cable network, you got 24 hours. I said, I don't understand why Morning Joe and the show at 10 and 11 and at 12 and at 1 and 2 and 3 and Nicole Wallace at 4 and Ari Melber at 6 and Chris Hayes at 7 and Rachel Maddow at 8 and all others. I said, you ain't got to cover the same stuff. I said, CNN, same thing. I said, if you got, hell, let's just take prime time. If you got 6 p.m. to, let's say, 11 p.m., that's 5 hours, you don't have to cover the same shit in all 5 hours. So this idea that, we just don't, it's just so much being thrown at us is just nonsense.
I think they're centering the comfort of white people, because even though we say echo chambers for a reason, because it is the same story regurgitated over and over, but it's also run by people who center conservative white people. What liberal networks are they talking about? There is no liberal network. And so because he said, it was bad to white people, the newsrooms will look at that and say, well, there's a significant portion of the country who agrees with that, so we have to be fair.
Listen,
we have to treat it legitimate.
This is no lie.
Yes.
I sent this book, my book, White Fear, to a number of media folks. And an African American host of a show said, I would love to have you on, but my white producers don't like your title. And I said, I write about those same white producers in the book. I said, because they are part of the problem. I said, the problem in these newsrooms is that the reason the white producers, they didn't like how the Browning of America is making white folks lose their minds. Also, I object to that. I said, so wait a minute. So I sent this person 5 stories, one from the New York Times, Newsweek, NPR, Axios, and Time. And those stories were all on the same thesis. I said, now I'm confused. How did the New York Times, NPR, Axios, Time, how do they all cover the same story, but the book is not relevant? I said, the problem we have is that white producers, white executives don't cover this stuff, because then they have to actually own up to how they operate and behave inside of these newsrooms.
I agree, but also I think as the Black host, your producer is not your boss. It is your face, your likeness. Like, you have to push back on that.
So I was told, that's what I was told. I was told, Roland, you're preaching to the choir. I said, no, I need you to be the pastor.
Right. Like, I don't give people a pass in that sense. You know, like, you have to
and
be
I've
willing.
never got booked.
Yeah, of course. But other people get booked.
Right.
You know, like, we have never asked Tom Brady, what would you do if you were president? But by all means, put Stephen A. Smith on air and ask him what he would do. I find that ridiculous and offensive. They don't want someone like you who actually has background, has information, understands policy, politics, and the press. They don't want that. And so it's very frustrating to witness this. And I think that's why it's important, Ron, when you talk about newsroom staff, the producers, because there is this tendency to issue humanity to people. So white producers feel like, well, my dad voted for Trump and he's not that bad. Or my grandmother voted for Trump and I love her. They have humanity for people who don't see ours. But when it comes to somebody getting shot in the face by an ICE officer, or a black kid, a 12-year-old getting shot by a police officer for playing with a gun, we have to be infallible. Like, it has to be a complete, you have to live your whole life like you might not ever do anything wrong. We have to prove that we didn't invite our own death or play a role in our own death. And I will say the strategy is effective, because we all saw with Renee Good what happened with her. And just by enough of them saying, no, she was charging her car at that officer. So now all of a sudden, we can't believe our eyes and our ears. The entire news media landscape had to treat it like it was a debate, when it was clear facts. Their narrative is not supported by the video we see before our eyes. So I don't really give anchors, reporters, any of them a pass. I feel like, if you are in this and living in service to your corporate overseers or to yourself, if you're trying to build your own empire, then you are failing at the job. I did this job in service to Black liberation, which benefits everybody. I will lay my life on the line. There's not enough white man's money that's going to make me abandon my people, because as you know, we can leave that world. You might be their favorite on Monday, and by Wednesday, the uppity Negro they don't like anymore. We can leave that world, but we always have a home with our people. There's nothing that's going to ever make me abandon my people in service to that. So the Black host who was saying that is on some bullshit, to be honest with you. I don't buy that for a second. Shame on whoever that is.
And I was like,
I name names. I want to name names.
Are you serious? And see, here's the thing and this is what I think people have to understand, who don't understand these systems, who don't understand what happens in these networks. I remember when Campbell Brown went on maternity leave, and I filled in for 2 months. And it was very interesting, because there was a white female producer, who was just incensed because I would actually raise questions in the editorial staff meeting. So remember, we were talking about Michael Vick, that if Michael Vick, should Michael Vick be allowed back in the NFL? And it was a trip because so we're sitting there, and so Claire, yes, her name is Claire, was at the wall, and they were deciding, in terms of where we're gonna place stores. And they had the magnetic wall, and it was like, well, what's Gloria Allred's daughter? Escape me. Lisa Bloom.
Yeah.
Well, so-and-so believes this, so-and-so believes this, and Lisa's a huge PETA person, so she's gonna be against it. I said, did we ask her? And they were like, well, Roland, this is Claire. Roland, we know where she's staying. I said, no, actually, you don't. I said, so why don't we ask Lisa before we assume that that's her position?
Lazy producer.
So she decided to run over me. I go, okay. So Tara Metzler was a booker. I said, Tara, can you call Lisa and ask Lisa the question? She calls Lisa. Tara being Tara, she goes, hangs up. We've got a problem.
Yeah.
Lisa says, yeah, if he serves his time, he should be able to come back. The whole room freezes. And I said, do you now understand? I said, here's the problem. That's what y'all do to me. Y'all assume you know my position, and you don't ask me first. She was so pissed that I was assuming, frankly, a managing editor's position, that she said, I want off this show. She literally, David Doss was the executive producer of Campbell's show and Anderson's show. She literally went to Anderson Cooper's show for the 2 months that I was hosting because she said, I will not work with him because I had the audacity to actually raise my hand and state my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's lazy producing, and even if we just take ourselves out of it and just look at the landscape now, because I don't want people to think like, oh, we're outside, we hating from outside the club and can't get in. That's not it. It's a bigger
No, the difference
picture.
is because we were on the inside,
It's a bigger
we
picture.
know exactly, we know how people get booked.
Right.
You
It's
and
a
I
bigger
can
picture.
watch a segment and we go, I know how that happened.
Right. But even the whole setup of it, I think, around 2015 when the news landscape changed, I've been in this business 25 years. I've worked in cable news a long time before I was ever on cable news. And there was actual news. It was reporting and information. And at a certain point, they felt like, oh, well, let's platform white supremacists. Let's platform liars. And let's call that news. Let's pair them with someone who disagrees with them, put them in the ring, let them fight. And I have to ask the audience sometimes, are you not entertained? Because this is what you all were tuning into.
Right.
You are the power broker. The audience, the remote control, you are the power broker. So as long as you watch that, even if you hate watch it, you're communicating, this is what I want
So
to see.
they love the fight, but we're like, time out. Are you actually listening to the conversation, the
Right.
bullshit that's being spewed?
We are giving people a microphone who do not see our humanity. We are giving people a microphone who are destroying the core pillars of democracy in America, and we are normalizing it. So because of that format, we have normalized mass men disappearing people off the street. We have normalized sexual offenders walking free. We have normalized a president who cares about the Constitution, who dismisses the Emoluments Clause, who dismisses birthright citizenship, because cable news had such an important role to play in that, and it has contributed to the dumbing down of America along with our smartphones, and that's a really scary time.
But we also normalize lying. And there are people who are just sitting there flat out lying, and we're watching it and going, I'll never forget, it used to drive me crazy. We'd be in a situation room, and there'll be this conversation back and forth, and this person is lying. And I'm like, I'm about to correct the lie. And it's all of a sudden, or then it'll be, okay, we've got to leave it there. Or they'll be like, hey, literally I've had producers, hey, don't push that hard. I said, stop. He was lying.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry. There's nothing about me that can allow a lie to be stated in my presence and go over the airwaves and I not say, no, that's simply not true. And so part of this also, and for so long, these networks were afraid to call out conservative liars because, oh my God, I'm going to get attacked by Fox News and Media Research Center and on social media. And so what ends up happening is, well, let's just put 4 or 5 or 10 more. I said this long ago. I said that because the conservatives have locked down victimhood. Oh my God, liberal bias. I said when I was at CNN, I said if CNN went out and hired today 1,000 conservative contributors, they would still say liberal bias.
Yeah.
You cannot satisfy because that's a part of their strategy.
They're leading them around by the nose. It's all very intentional and it's effective because we see this playing out. Exactly. It works again and again and again. But again, I have to come back to the audience. They are the power brokers. And we have seen Black households particularly have been tuning out increasingly. I mean, where they're cord cutters all across and when we democratize who has a voice in media and who gets to share information and opinions, that has come with some challenges because that's how you had a rise in malinformation, misinformation, disinformation, and that has also impacted our elections, you know, with the Black Manosphere and podcast bros introducing some really toxic conversations around relationships, which also ended up penetrating our politics when we looked at some of the voting patterns in the last cycle. So this one tiny thing casts a dark shadow across many facets in society for sure.
Panelists, get ready for your questions. I'm gonna come to you after this next question. One of the things that just jumps out at me, and you said it earlier, and I made this point, and I've said this directly to Stephen A. I said it directly. Bruh, if you're gonna come over this side and you're gonna start commenting, you need to bone up. You need to read. You need to pick the phone up and call folk. I said, this is not, listen, on the sports side, I've been on ESPN. I guess hosted His and Hers with Jamel. I've been on First Take several times. You know what? We can sit here and have a back and forth, throwing out our feelings and emotion about last night. CJ Stroud, my quarterback of Texas, why won't he run the damn ball more? Why won't he take up? Why is he taking sacks? We can do all of that. That ain't life or death. Cutting off aid to USAID, that's life and death. Cutting food support, that's literally life and death. Well, I said life and death. And my deal is, if you're going to hop over here and have some life and death conversations, well, you damn bet not bring that same histrionics on the sports side over here, because this actually matters over here. And then what then happens? What then happens is the media sites will pick up the inflammatory comments and then post it, and then New York Post will post it, and then these people will post. So all of a sudden, it now becomes circular. And so now it's like, oh, let's book him on The View. Let's book him on this CNN show. I said one CNN host, I said, why did you have him on that conversation when there was literally nothing factual that was being discussed? And I'm like, we know why. It's all a ratings thing, because what they want is they want the they want all of the drama, all of the loudness. And I'm like, but you're doing a disservice to the audience. And this is the problem I have. And it's not just him. And here's what kills me, because Malcolm X talked about it long ago as well. How many white sportscasters or white entertainers do you see them going to opine on what's happening in white America? Like, you know, they have experts. They have subject matter experts. But you got black folks who are just, oh, you are a sports person, you're a media personality, you are on a television show. Dave Chappelle had the famous joke. Why did Fox have Ja Rule on after 9/11? He's like, yeah, I was really going, I need to hear what Ja Rule thinks. I mean, the joke works, but that's what they do with black folks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point I was making about who they give a microphone to. And quite honestly, I don't really have anything to say to or about Stephen A. Smith per se. I think I wouldn't debate my lessers. I would teach them, but you can't fill a cup that's already full. My challenge is with the media ownership, the people in position who keep giving him a microphone. It's like they think to appeal to Black people, you appeal to the lowest common denominator. It's either that or to make white people comfortable, you put a dumb person on TV across from a smart person. And so now you feel better about yourself. I'm not racist because I had this stupid ass on my show and asked him his opinion. And that person does not speak for Black America any more than Van Jones speaks for Black America. We are not a homogenous group. And so instead of finding intelligent people to have a healthy exchange of intellectual ideology, they don't do that. I wore a Malcolm X sweater on Abby's show the other night, which, I struggle with. I really, is a challenge going on that show, sitting across from people who are dehumanizing, quite frankly.
That you'll never call me.
Yes, I know.
That will never happen.
But so many people the panelists had so much to say during and I don't say anything to anybody. On the commercials, I'm like, don't say shit to me. I don't care where your kid's going to college. I don't care what you're doing for the holidays. I don't care. I don't have small talk with those people. But they had so much to say about my shirt. It was the iconic photo of Malcolm X at the window with the gun in his hand. And I just thought of the ridiculousness of that. Like, you're sitting here defending a woman getting shot in the face by a masked man who was filming it.
Right.
But me wearing this sweatshirt, you can't even sit here and formulate your thought properly because you're so distracted by what I'm wearing. And that, in that set, I'm considered the controversial person.
But
Scott
they
Jennings
love the Second Amendment.
Precisely. But the things they say and the things that people get taken off air for, like Mark Lamont Hill, for example, I do not believe Mark to be an anti-Semitic person at all. Right. I think he was making a point long before it was cool or okay to say I support Palestine, and he was taken off the air. But at the time, Rick Santorum would go on there and say all kind of offensive shit about Black people, and they had him time and time again. If you hear things Scott Jennings says on that network, I was live on air with Scott, and he was so frustrated that he couldn't answer another panelist's questions. He said, well, maybe I don't care about your stupid fucking question. How about that? Imagine had I said something like that. I would have been escorted off set. So it's still this double standard that is so incredibly frustrating, Roland. I just can't take it. But anyway, can we talk about my book?
No, we are.
Okay.
Randy, what's your question for Tiffany?
All right, y'all. So we're going to finish out this conversation, which I think is an excellent conversation. And I wanted to add and incorporate this video into this live because of basically everything that we're seeing when it comes to the things that are happening with ICE, the things that are happening in the governmental sector, the political sector, with Trump, so on and so forth, and where we get our information from as far as the networks and the news stations that we can tap into to get this information. This couldn't be further from the truth. And I also wanted to correlate this in because I do have some more videos and another live set up for later where y'all will see this ties in very much to that as well. When it does come to the difference between individuals that want to bring truth, want to bring light, want to bring honesty, and want to report on certain things, whether you're in the reporting sector when it comes to politics, or if you're just a content creator that just wants to tell the truth and be a decent individual, right? There seems to be this off shift when it comes to that. And yes, unfortunately, sometimes we do have to incorporate race into it, but not always. But a lot of the times that's what we see, right? So we can watch, let's just say, 3 Black content creators that want to be positive. They want to speak on politics. They want to bring knowledge and information and love to the platform. Those said individuals don't seem to get the same supporting and backing that other individuals seem to get when they really want to talk about gossip, trash, and, wreak havoc and harm on people. And so I do think there's a correlation between the two. When you have a voice, you have a platform, and our platforms just happen to be on YouTube. We may not be on a cable news station. We're on a YouTube channel that we decide to create and produce and direct and host the way we see fit to do so. Sometimes with a team, sometimes solo dolo. And you do see that there is a difference between, the outcome that these two different ones get, depending on what type of content it is they want to put out there. And so if we minimize it and we look at it from a standpoint of what just even happens on YouTube, but then you maximize it and you look at what's happening in, you know, the news stations and the, you know, the news reporting world, in these major networks and stuff that are supposed to bring the truth to people, that are supposed to keep it real about the stories when things are playing out and happening. We can even see in those spaces as well that there is this cover up type of energy where you're not always going to get the truth and the genuinity that you need to have as a person. And then we do have people that, you know, like for me, I like to come on and talk about politics, and I like to find channels and I like to find other people that equally so want to talk about it, but talk about it for the realness of what is really going on and happening, not covering things up or sweeping things under the rug. And I think there is a very big correlation between that and, you know, how sometimes content creation goes as well. There are suppressed voices and channels, and then there's pushed and supported voices and channels on YouTube, the same way it is in mainstream media. So I thought this conversation would be pretty interesting to listen to, especially if you can understand the correlation between the two, which is things that we're seeing playing out in real time in both places and spaces. So let's keep going. They're just about finished. And then after this video, we will end with a positive word, because we'll be listening to a very inspirational speech, but yet powerful and strong speech from Representative Al Green, who is quoting the late and great Martin Luther King when it comes to, you know, the ultimate measure of a man. So we'll get into that after we finish this video, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me. This one's going to go probably a little over 2 hours, and I really apologize, but I'd like to give these people the due diligence to hear them out when they're having these impertinent conversations that I believe we need to listen to and hear. So let's go ahead and continue with this video, y'all, and we'll be right back.
So Tiffany, I'm just so happy to see you. I'm a big fan. You know, you talk a lot about the power we have as the audience, because right now it seems like the media are, I don't know if it ever has, accepted Black people who will speak different truths, particularly truths that make white people uncomfortable. So what do you suggest we do to use that power and to say, you know what, we won't even watch these shows anymore if you're not going to be representative to us?
Thank you, Randy, for the question. I'm very happy to share the screen with you as well. So I would say, first and foremost, support independent media. You know, Roland, for example, has this show, and people go where folks are tuning in. Yet, Ro, you know, I hope you don't mind me sharing that sometimes it's challenging to get people to come here. You know, so if somebody's running for president, running for office, if it's a good get, as we say in the business, they think, let me run to the CNN morning show, even though significantly less people are watching that show than they are Roll show. So we overwhelmingly support our platforms, like my sister Joy Reid, like our good friend Michael Harriet with Contraband Camp in print. If we overwhelmingly elevate, uplift, support, post, share responsibly, things that we see here, I think that could really shift the media landscape and stop placing value on these white platforms. You know, so many people think white is right. They think white folks' ice is cooler. And so even with Black folks, it's like you will run, you know, entertainers will run. I saw so many hip hop artists go on Ari's show, and this is no diss to Ari Melber, but you gonna go on Ari's show and I can't get you on my show? Joy couldn't get you on her show? He is a guest of hip hop culture. We are born of it. And so I think all around the audience, if you're an influencer, somebody worthy of being interviewed, I think we have to look to ourselves and start supporting our own platforms.
Mustafa. Yeah, well, Tiffany, it's good to see you.
Hi, Mustafa.
I want to give you your flowers for all the Black folks you brought onto your show, myself included. So I just want to say thank you. The book. Could you talk a little bit about your journey in the creation of the book?
And
Yes.
folks, the book is called Love Me, A Letter to Black Women in a Toxic Country, Career, and Relationship.
Yes. Thank you for that question. And thank you for having me on the show to talk about it, Ro. So the book is available for pre-order now. The official pub date is May 5th, but please, everybody, order it now. The formation of the book is, you know, when my show was canceled, and thank you for coming on my show and being a guest, Mustafa. I love having you on. I love having Ro on. But when my show was canceled, I was so devastated. I was so shook by that because my entire life I had spent a lifetime since I was 15 years old in the field of journalism. And so to be so dismissed by my career and be attacked by a network, I didn't know what to do with myself. And then I started dating someone and I was just on cloud 9, honey. Okay. I just thought, oh, well, this is some balance. You know, if this is what I had to suffer, then he and I will live happily ever after. And then that didn't go right. And I just thought, man, my career is sinking. My heart is broken. And at that time, America decided that Black women were the face of the enemy. And I was talking about it with our good friend Van Newkirk, an editor at The Atlantic, and he said, damn, you sound like every Black woman I know right now. And so I thought about it. I said, yeah, we pour our love into this country and it doesn't love us back. We pour our love into our men and we don't always feel love back. And we pour our love into our careers, and our careers are certainly not loving us back these days. And so I use myself as a variable, as a tiny microcosm, and then I branch out at the 1,000-foot level. So I tell all my business. I'm being very unfiltered about things that happen at MSNBC, things that happen in my relationship with Roman's frat brother, by the way, but that's a whole other story. And things that happen in the
too now.
All right, well, you know, y'all got some shady people in the group, but anyway, I share these things with the intention of reflecting to my sisters that you are not going through this alone and trying to give us some hope. Because as we talk about saving America, and what we're going to do and how we're going to save it, I think we have to first give ourselves something to believe in. So I wanted to give a mirror reflection to Black women to say, yes, sisters, I too am bleeding. I too am crying, but I am in these trenches with you. And I know in your arms and in your company, I am safe. And so this letter really is me bleeding on the pages. And look, I hope the book is successful. I anticipate it to be successful. But truthfully, if this book sells 3,000 copies or 300,000 copies, the one thing that I ask, that I pray for, is that Black women will tap into deeper self-love and that I have made Black people proud. That is my only goal with this book, particularly with Black women. I hope they feel seen. And when they see me and they've read the book, I hope they feel like you did that. I felt like you spoke for me. I felt like you wrote my thoughts. That would send me to tears every single time, a lot faster than making the New York Times bestseller list or any other of the bestsellers list. Is for my sisters.
I think, first of all, you just talked about, and Randy, you're going to be able to ask a question about the book coming up next. And also, hey, I know we're going to go to headlines. Let Brittany know if she has a question for Tiffany, then I'm going to go to her too. So let me know if she has one. When you talk about the show and even the relationship, I think one of the things that I think that we have to learn.
Tried everything, coffee, Pomodoro, and binaural beats, but nothing stuck.
Whether you're men or women, you're man or a woman, that one, a show, a job, a relationship, a church, a whatever, that doesn't define you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, I love the movie The Insider, which of course was about 60 Minutes in the whole tobacco scandal. And there's this great scene where Al Pacino is playing Lowell Bergman, 60 Minutes producer. And he said, Lowell Bergman, 60 Minutes. I wonder if my calls get returned if that's not at the end of my name. And I think that right there, I think is an issue for a lot of people in that they are defined by that. I'm so-and-so MSNBC. I'm so-and-so CNN. I'm so-and-so this. For sure. Where for me, I never ever allowed everything about me to be defined by who I worked for. Mm-hmm. So it was very interesting so CNN ended 13 years ago in April. And it was very interesting how I would go out and people would go, CNN. And probably after about 6 months of the TV One show, that began to wane. And then they always mixed up TV One and BET. But then it became that. And then when the TV One show ended, December 2017, it was always TV One, TV One. Probably about 6 months after this, then it was Unfiltered. And I knew this, but what it also taught me was that I'm not defined by the letters attached to my name.
Mm-hmm.
It's the name that comes before the letters. And that has to be a lesson that a lot of people have to accept, that TV gig, that radio gig, whatever, that sucker will end one day. But that can't define who you are.
I agree with you, Ro. But I have to say, I don't think I never considered myself defined by any role I had professionally. And I don't think the nearly 400,000 Black women who are now unemployed define themselves by their job, but it is what we poured into it. It's
But that's what I
brought
mean.
to it.
I think what I mean by is we pour so much into it. And then when it ends, it's like, well, what the hell I was doing, as opposed to knowing exactly what it was. And so that's what I mean by define. And so it becomes, someone once said to me, I am my job. My job is my life. And I said, so that job ends, does your life end? And they looked at me and I said, no. I'm asking you a serious question. If the job ends, and the person had to grapple with that because they went, oh, I didn't realize I said that. And I was trying to get them to understand that we can be committed to a job, but
I hear you.
It's not just us.
I don't think Black women feel that way, to be honest. I don't think we walk around with our company letters on our chest. Some folks do.
I've had to
We know some of those.
I've had to deal with some people and help them through that.
But our work so often, like our humanity butts up against our ambition. You know, our work so often. I mean, you think about the Black women in the federal government. Like they were living in service. They had a role to play.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just about this was a path that's for the middle class, but it was living in service to our community. This was a way we could move dollars. We could provide, goods and services to people. And every Black person I know, when we are in these roles, we're not like, oh, I'm so happy to be working at this Fortune 100. It defines me. It is, oh, I am defining my service to my community through the platform that afforded me right now. I never was defined by MSNBC, but I certainly thought I am going to use all that's happening in the country right now with this platform. I am going to use every minute of television, every time I have a microphone, in service to humanity and liberation. And so when that is taken away, and you were one of the first people to reach out to me, like who cares? Let's move on. Get in front of a camera. Keep doing what you're doing. Come on my show. You were so supportive, but it still felt like a gut punch. It wasn't like, oh, the white man kicked me off his plantation. That wasn't it. It was, how much do we have to do to be afforded some respect? Like I am doing.
All right, so I just wanted to speak a little bit on that statement that she made and some of my thoughts and feelings about it as well, because, over the period of years, we have seen these type of transitions happen. I remember I used to watch ESPN with my significant other at the time. And I remember when, there was this really beautiful, intelligent Black sports reporter. Dang, her name is just not coming to my mind right now. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But she decided that, because of the way they were treating her and speaking to her on the network and the platform, that she was going to leave. And she did. And once she did, she bet on herself. And so she started her own podcast. And so the following, the supporters, the people who tuned in to the network and that show to see her every day cover the sports reporting the way she did, they followed her as well. We also just seen recently from MSNBC, Joy Reid, who also speaks her mind and talks about the racial issues that started to become a problem. And so they decided she couldn't be there anymore. And when she left, what did she do? She bet on herself, started her own podcast, and that same following came. She actually has a bigger following now on her own independent podcast than what she had on the show when she was on the mainstream media networks. And so I understand what Tiffany is saying. There is a feeling, and I'm pretty sure each of these individuals had those feelings at the times where they had to make the decision to leave, or They were booted and kicked out. Also, Roland Martin, another person that was on CNN, he left from CNN because of some controversies, and he bet on himself, and he started his own network now. Not even just a podcast, but his own network. And this is what we're watching right now, Roland Martin's network. This is the Roland Martin Unfiltered digital network. And so I do believe that us as Black people, yes, we do like to have our presence be in, places and spaces because we're worthy, we deserve it, we're intelligent, we go to school, we get the degrees, we have, all of the requirements to hold these said positions and jobs and hold these places and spaces on said jobs. But I think that we got to go a little bit further beyond the bar and realize that we don't need anybody else's approval. We are enough. We have enough. We're equipped with enough. And if we bet on ourselves and we do it independently, we probably see that we'll get a lot more further than being under someone else's watch, belt, and company. And so I understand there is a gut punch sometimes where you get, dismissed as if you're not qualified, you're nobody, you're nothing, you can't. But don't, these people that I've seen now that have their own podcasts, their own networks, and their own space, they feel free. They feel free because they can talk the way they want to talk. They can talk about the things that they want to talk about. They can speak on them in the way that they need to be spoke on. And I think that that's what, really is inspirational about a lot of these people and I forgot my boy Don Lemon. Same thing with Don Lemon. You see him, he's over there winning with his own show because the people will follow the person, not the platform. And so you can have a platform wherever, but if you got the juice as the person, the people will follow. You know what I mean? And it's not to say blindly follow, but it's because you're giving them and feeding them something that they love, that makes them feel good, that they need, that they desire. And you always can bet on that, but you have to bet on yourself first. So within that conversation, I just thought that was a relevant point to bring up because we have seen many of these stories happen, where these individuals that we have known to like and love have been on major media platforms and channels and things of that nature. And then they had to pivot. And when they pivot, they bet on themselves and they created their own platforms. And guess what? The numbers follow, the ratings follow, the people follow because they have the juice, not where you work. So I get what she's saying. Yeah, it does hurt a little bit, but if we do more of betting on ourselves, if we do more of working as a team and a community and a group, we put our, superpowers together, we can become the mighty mutant ranger. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. I don't know if that's the right thing, child. I haven't watched this show in so long, the Power Rangers. But anyway, we can become that for ourselves, for our people, for our community. But we have to bet on each other and we have to bet on ourselves. And we have to see ourselves as enough and capable and just as worthy as the others. And that's just all I'll say about that. But let's just keep going.
I'm working harder than most people I know. For example, right now, I'm working harder than most people I know. But this basic below average ass white woman was gifted the platform of running CBS News. It's not that I'm defined by it.
Not as even gifted. Also, they bought her company for $150 million.
Precisely.
That hasn't made any money.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
I had a platform. I had 100,000 unique daily visitors reading the beat. Nobody came along and gave me, hundreds of millions of dollars to buy that. Nobody said, "Oh, you're smart. You've been working in this business a long time. You run a newsroom." And so I hear you. I think it's wise counsel, Ro. But with the book, I'm trying to say you have a righteous anger right now, and you are validated in that righteous anger. You deserve to feel that way. Don't let anybody talk you out of your feelings. It is not fair.
I guess the reason I never felt like caught off guard, and I've always joked about this here, that I start every job with the premise I'm gonna get fired anyway. So I laugh about it, but literally it's like, I'm telling you, like there are people who still come up to me who I work with. We were at TV One. They were like, "You were never pissed when the show got canceled." I said, "No, I wasn't." And it was like literally as like we're sitting in the office, you're Alfred Liggins, and you're telling me show's canceled. And while he's talking, I was already planning. So it's
But it's okay, Ro, for you to sit in your feelings. Like
Yeah, but
after
it was just
CNN,
like-
you had every right to be upset after CNN, and you had every right to be upset after
Oh,
TV1.
no, hold on, but I'll tell you this here. The reality is here. I left CNN ended in 2013. 2009, I joined 2007. 2009, I brought a sponsor to the table.
Need to create more video content, but don't have enough hours in the day? With Animoto, you can create.
Southwest Airlines was going to be the primary sponsor of a weekend show for me. They were like, what the hell? When they said they were not going to give me a weekend show, I walked out John Klein's office. I wasn't about 100 feet, and I called Jonathan Rogers and said, they're not giving me a weekend show. That's John said, okay, we're going to launch you one. But when I walked out of that office, the moment he said that, I said, I'll never get a show here. I'll always be a contributor. This was the mindset. CNN from this day is about to become my personal venture capitalist for what I actually want to do. So part of that also for me was just is an understanding how these folks, how their games work, and say, you know what? I'm not going to allow you to, in fact, was it quite interesting because he also wanted me to leave all of my black shit. We had lunch and wanted me to leave Tom Joyner, TV1. And I was like, why would I leave all my stuff? And he got fired in 2010. My deal was up 2013. When I left in 2013, the black stuff they wanted me to give up, I still had. So
I hear your point, Ro, but you're talking about the economics and business planning.
No, how I felt. I did
But that's not how you felt. You're talking about I was planning. How you felt is I was disheartened after CNN, or I was angry after CNN. Like those are the feelings. Now, how you channel those feelings into other things is something different. But what I'm writing about is you have a right to be hurt. You have a right to be angry. You, Roland, have a right to be hurt. I mean, this book centers Black women, but I hope Black men read it because I think that's part of our challenge, you know, the focus on Black excellence and make money and build an empire. Yes, but somewhere in that is our hearts. And I'm going to tell you, my heart was broken, okay? It was broken, not because I lost a job, but because of my life's goal to make my community proud. I felt like I failed them in that moment. My heart was broken because I was vulnerable enough to share myself with another person who was disrespectful to me. My heart was broken because after all that Black women have done in this country and for this country, the country looked at us and said, fuck you. My heart was broken then and my heart is broken today. So yes, I talk to you all the time and you tell me we got to do this, this, and this. I agree. That's a strategy. But I have the right to stand in the righteous indignation of my anger and my pain. And I think we have to take a moment to feel that, to have the strength to get up another day and keep going.
And for the person who, so in doing that, having a broken heart, how long did you go, I got to mend and move on? Because the reason I'm saying that, there are some people who stay in that state. I dealt with a person who, working with somebody who had been broken 20 plus years ago and stayed that way and was provided opportunities and they still were stuck in that. So how long were you in that state?
So I don't like putting a timeline on how long somebody should feel.
But
I think
how long did you say, okay, you know what? Now let me.
Bro, I'm still in that state.
Got it.
But I'm putting one foot in front of the next. I'm moving with a broken heart. Like so many other Black women across the country, I am moving with a broken heart. I'm blessed to be surrounded by people like you. Ro and I are in a group chat that's really like family. We talk every day, all the time. And then
argue, cuss,
yes.
Piss everybody off,
share.
Like family do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then in that group chat, there's a bunch of women and the machetes. We have our own group chat. And
they
feel
take trips and shit. Yeah, we see the Instagram.
But when I'm sinking in the quicksand of my life, those are the people who are pulling me through. And yes, and they might be heartbroken while they're pulling me through. Like we're going to cry together, but we continue to work. And I just don't want people to think, oh, I got to wipe these tears and I can't feel, I got to swallow this down. Like, no, you can feel with that broken heart. But I take your point, Ro, we have to move as well. So I'm trying to do both.
And the only reason I asked that question is because unfortunately, I know some people who are still stuck and they're there and it's like, okay, when we going?
They need some encouragement.
Right.
They need somebody to hold their hand and pull them along.
And that's a thing that you can have a broken heart. You can go through pain. You can be angry, pissed off, but you can also still move. And it's okay.
Most times, but for a minute, I couldn't move.
Right.
For a minute, I did have to sit in my stillness.
Randy, your question about the book. Does Brittany have a question? Y'all didn't talk to me. Y'all didn't talk to me. Okay, first of all, okay, you ain't pressing the button. I can't hear you talking. So please use the microphone so I can hear y'all talking to me. I didn't pay thousands for a new audio system to make that shit work. Okay, Randy, your question for Tiffany about her book.
Before I ask the question, I have to first tell Tiffany that, honey, sister, you have made us so proud. When you say that was your mission, you have made us proud. I know I'm speaking for scores of us out there, and you've been to make us proud.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Two, I know when you have those moments where you realize, like, you know what? I mean, I think a lot of Black women are experiencing now, certainly I have, where you're like, I have done everything right and still white supremacy is holding me down. Has that realization helped you to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to write my truth. I'm going to put it all out there on this book. Because we know when we speak the truth that makes them uncomfortable, since you are speaking about, your professional life too, that it could hold you back in the long run. I mean, in those traditional ways. Did it free you up a bit? Do you think that maybe you would not have been able to write so courageously had you still been in, doing what you were doing?
So I have to say, I was freed up a little earlier in life. I never felt handcuffed by white supremacy. I imagined a world where my truth would be okay to profess because their truth is okay to profess. I made a point. I didn't code switch on my show. They're out here, them and their kids trying to sound like us. So I was determined to sound like me. I dressed how I wanted to dress. I talked about things that I knew other people, all across America were talking about. And so I was always free. And I think that was part of the challenge of why my show was canceled, because I was so free. So I would say I'm no more unfiltered in these pages than I've always been. Really, this is, I hope, an invitation to other people to be free, because I feel like if you're always going to land in peril anyway, then why not be a revolutionary? And so for at least 25 plus years, I hope I have lived my life as a revolutionary. And I think courage is contagious. And so that was the intention of this book, to give other people courage, to offer a testimony, and to validate all that we're feeling right now. Like, Barry, I don't know you, we haven't been to each other's house for Thanksgiving, but I know you. And I just, by nature of you being you, I know you. I know you. If you want to
go to a Black restaurant in D.C., call Randy.
Okay.
She know all of them.
And speaking of Black-owned establishments, I've been online trying to order the book, and I'm not seeing it for pre-order on Mahogany Books because I'm going to order.
It's not there, but if you actually go to pull my iPad, if you go to hatchetbookgroup.com, HACHETTE bookgroup.com, it is available for pre-order. So the easiest thing to do is in the search box, type in Tiffany Cross, book will come up, and then you can pre-order the book, hardcover, ebook, as well as trade paper book as well.
And audiobook.
Yes, audiobook is here as well. All four there.
But I hope people do the hard copy because I was intentional about the cover. If you combine the colors of the American flag, red, white, and blue, you get variations of that purple. And with the woman, I made it like decorative, so people would want this on their nightstands.
I want y'all to buy whatever. So
Me too, but buy the hard copy.
Don't listen to what Tiffany just said. I want y'all to buy
it however you like, but get the hard copy too.
If y'all want the ebook, if y'all want the audio book, if y'all want the paperback book, large print, buy it. Damn all that.
I just wanted them to have something hard.
I feel you. Listen, if y'all don't do that, print the damn cover.
Listen to Row.
Print the cover out and hang it up, put it in a frame. But buy it on whatever platform. Brittany Noble has a question.
color does not get you in the holiday spirit, what will? So let me set the scene. You're lounging on the couch. You're reading.
You know, Tiffany, I just really appreciate you for being so candid and sharing your story. And I know what it feels like to be stuck, if you will, if you had a bad situation in the newsroom and, you know, just trying to move forward. One of the questions for me is about love. I know that you experienced a little heartbreak from an alpha. Are you still open to finding love?
Let's be real clear, okay? She experienced heartbreak from a dude. Okay, let's be real clear. You ain't got to say from an alpha. I mean, we got 500,000 alphas.
I do love my brothers, but for real. You know, are you afraid of opening yourself up again? Or what's your advice to us that are still looking for love?
I have never been closed. I believe in love. I am a believer in our love. And I think Black women can be love savior. I just don't think we can do it alone. But I think a part of us, this disconnect that we have with each other, that this chasm that has grown over the decades, I believe it can be repaired. I mean, that's how we have survived this 400-year nightmare. It was our love for each other, so much so that when we got off those torture chambers and got here on the shores of America, we clenched so hard for it. The skin of that love was underneath our fingernails because we really loved each other. And so I think if we don't get back to that, then we have no chance of surviving. And I know that Black folks are survivors. So I personally believe in the daunting, daring love that happens in a relationship with a man and a woman or whomever you love. And I will never not believe in that. I won't let monsters turn me into a monster, because I think if you don't have love, you're kind of a monster. It's something that's not human about you. So yes, I believe in love for sure.
Well, I think
we are certainly.
I think part of the issue, what we're facing today, this is where I do believe social media comes in, and people don't. A lot of people do not understand how the algorithms work.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is the algorithm is positioned for rage. It ain't positioned for love.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm is positioned to piss you off because they understand how to make you mad, to make you upset, and it feeds so much of that. So I had someone hit me, I don't know why this stuff keeps showing in my timeline. I'm like, that's by design.
Mm-hmm.
You may have seen one thing, and it's about to roll another 8 to 10. They want to see if you're going to stop and watch from this, because we've actually stopped having conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that during COVID, I said, I really hope once we come out of COVID, I said, I hope people will not go back to normal, but I hope people will embrace the value of just getting together for dinner, for drinks, for having a party just because, inviting folks over for games or whatever.
Talking, not texting.
To where we are communing, we're eating, we're drinking, we're laughing, we're crying, we're listening to music, we're dancing, as opposed to living in isolation. I just think that more people are actually living far more isolated lives today than ever before.
I agree. But, you know, even in that part of that isolation, I think when you talk about love, it has to be rooted in self-love, love of self.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have so much love for yourself, the overflow is what you offer to someone else. And I think the isolation teaches us to hate ourselves because you're comparing yourself to filtered versions of other people, to someone's highlight reel. So please, for God's sake, get off the phone. You know, like people are constantly like this consuming phone slop, and that makes us ignorant to what's happening to the world around us, but it also makes us fearful of traveling our own interior world. And this is Cole Arthur Riley says, if you can't be trusted to travel your own interior world, you can't be trusted in the world around you. So I hope this book also helps people self-reflect and move in the world with humility and kindness and grace for everybody.
Folks, the book is Love Me, A Letter to Black Women in a Toxic Country, Career and Relationship by Tiffany Cross. Again, if you go to Hatchet.
All right, y'all. So they're just wrapping up their conversation, but I just wanted to do a still frame here so y'all can see the title of the book. If you're interested in getting it, I just said to my mom, I was like, I want to get this book. So this is the title of the book, Love Me, A Letter to Black Women in a Toxic Country, Career and Relationship by Tiffany D. Cross. So if you guys want to get it, they're going to go ahead and tell you where you can get it from. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Books and all of those things, probably in Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, places like that. But I will let them finish off. I just wanted to take this still frame so y'all can see the title of the book and the cover of the book. You should check it out. I think it'll be a good read. I'm going to get my hands on one. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done here. And then we'll be moving on to Congressman Al Green and his wonderful speech where he quotes MLK. So
Bookgroup.com, HACHETTE, bookgroup.com. You can pre-order. And again, you can pre-order the hardcover.
All right, so there it is. Bookgroup.com is what they're saying. This is the website, y'all. So they have everything up here on the screen. If you guys would like to purchase that book, that is where you can get it from. Hatchetbookgroup.com. Let's keep going.
The ebook, the audio book, download unabridged, or the trade paperback large print version as well. They're all right there. All of those sales count. And when you're a book author, you want sales. And so Tiffany wants you to have the cover, and you can have it there, and you can see how the colors mesh in the purple and the red, white, and blue. Buy that shit, okay? On any platform. Sale. Or as Frank Lucas said, American Gangster, I'm going to get that money. So get it however. Tiffany, we appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
I love you, Ro. Thank you for having me.
Time for Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to go ahead and allow that ad to be played as well, because Fanbase is a really great platform. I did actually start a profile on Fanbase. I just have to build it. I'm working on building platforms all over, the internet space outside of YouTube. But we're going to take a quick song break, and then we're going to get into our final video, y'all. Oh my God, my live is going so long. We're going to get into the final video of a little bit of the speech from Congressman Al Green. I just wanted to give everybody due diligence for the lives that I was playing, to hear it from beginning to end, because they're really great conversations. I didn't want to cut any of them short. But let me go ahead and play this song, and then we'll get into Congressman Al Green's speech. Be right back.
They drag us from the coast, middle passage madness, where we lost the most. Packed in hoes like cargo, spirits in a cage. Built a brand new nation, lived a life of rage. Yeah, we were the property, the 3/5 compromise. Picked the cotton, built the White House with our hands inside. And they watered all the poplar trees with our blood and cries. Yeah, you know what they more beneath the southern skies. That strange fruit hanging message of their hate. A simple wrong look was enough to seal your fate. To my brown kin, they just stole it, called it manifest. Killed the Aztecs, stole the planes, put them to the west. Good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back, not going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. Let's talk about a word. Say your word. Let's talk about a word. See how it sticks. 6 letters, COLORED to politics. Not a person, just a label, just a shade on a chart. A legal way to tear a whole damn race apart. Colored water fountain, colored waiting room, colored entrance round the back, a social living tomb. Jim Crow was the law, man. Segregation was the tool. Taught a child to hate his own skin before he went to school. And it ain't just here, that's the global view. Apartheid, colonization, yeah, they did it there too. That word was a weapon, a boot on the neck to say you live, you die, you move at our check. They want the good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back. 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 Don't you dare say it's repeating. It never stops. They just got new suits, new slogans, new cops. They ban the books that tell the truth of Act 1. They call a protest riot soon as the marching's done. They tell us get over it, it wasn't us. While they build the same systems of them and us. Gerrymander the district, choke the money from the school. Praise the good old days while they fill the modern jails. This is the warning, this is the last thing. We learned your lessons, now we understand. We are the children of the ones you couldn't break. We are the dreams that you could never ever take. We are the fire you tried to douse with ice. We paid the cost, we ain't gon' pay it twice. You want us back in chains, you want us on our knees. We'd rather die right here standing on our feet. This ain't a threat, this is a promise we fulfill. We ain't ever going back. We'll fight you tooth and nail. We ain't going back.
On this, the birth date of Dr. Martin Luther King, a man so great in the eyes of this country that we honor his birthday as a holiday. But it is more than a holiday. It is an opportunity for us to do some introspection, to examine some of the many things that are occurring within our country that should be addressed in a king-like fashion. Dr. King had something that many of the intellectuals of his time did not have. He was an intellectual. He had something that many of the persons who did speak up did not have. He had something called courage. Many of the great intellectuals could expose and expound on some of the great issues of the time, but they didn't have the courage to take a stand as Dr. King did, to go out into the public, into the streets, if you will, with protest, peaceful protest, to bring about a change in this country. And he did bring about a change. So today, on his birthday, I want to honor Dr. King by speaking from one of his quotes. He had many quotes that are quite quotable, to be quite honest, and it's difficult to single out just a few. But today I'll mention a couple, but there's one that I'll focus on, the third one. He, of course, is known for having said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Injustice in Minnesota is a threat to justice in every other state in the union. He didn't say that about Minnesota, but he was giving us the words to help us understand that what's happening in Minnesota, if it's an injustice, it can happen in your state. It can happen in Texas, my state. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I think that's probably one of his most quoted quotes. But then he also had one that's not quoted too often. This one is one that people don't like to associate with Dr. King because it speaks to his militancy in a sense. But it also speaks to things that people don't want us to do. We have a state that has as its motto, live free or die. Well, it's all right for a state to have that. But Dr. King's quote was, a man who hasn't found something worth dying for isn't fit to live. A man, a person who has not found something worth dying for isn't fit to live. Very few people will cite Dr. King for having said this. And by the way, I paraphrase a lot of what I'm saying in terms of his quotes. Man who hasn't found something worth dying for isn't fit to live. But the one that I'd like to quote today and say much about is his quote that deals with the ultimate measure. The ultimate measure of a man is the way he put it, but I'll be paraphrasing. The ultimate measure of the person is not where the person stands in times of comfort, when all of your bills are paid and you're living the high life. Not where the person stands in times of comfort and convenience, when everything is at your fingertips. You have at your fingertips all of the luxuries of life, all of the things that makes life worth living. The ultimate measure is not where the person stands in times of comfort and convenience, but rather, where do you stand in times of challenge? Challenge, when you have a reckless, ruthless, lawless president who is breaching the Constitution, who is doing things that we never expected to see in our lifetimes. Where do you stand when you have a president who is doing things within and without the country that we did not anticipate? Dr. King says the ultimate measure of the person is not where you stand in times of comfort and convenience, but where do you stand in times of challenge and controversy? Controversy because what he's doing is being justified by many people who stand in the corridors of power. What he's doing is being justified by members of the clergy who ordinarily would take the righteous stand. Where do you stand? The ultimate measure of the man. Where do you stand in times of challenge and controversy? Let's talk about this. Where do you stand when the President of the United States has replaced Congress with corporate America? When the President of the United States will consult corporate America before he consults Congress. When the President of the United States goes into another country, Venezuela, bombs this country, consults with corporate America, but does not consult with the Congress of the United States of America. Where do you stand? Well, here's where the Senate has taken a position. Here's where the Senate stands. Let's first read what the Senate has in SJ Res 90. This is a resolution brought before the Senate and has been voted on, but was voted down. So let's examine briefly an excerpt from the resolution. The resolution reads, joint resolution to direct the removal of United States armed forces from hostilities within or against Venezuela that have not been authorized by Congress. Remember, this is the president who consulted with corporate America, but not the Congress of the United States of America. Senate has this resolution, SJ 90. It continues in the finding. Congress makes the following findings. I will read a portion of one. This is what Congress finds. This is the United States Senate. Congress has the sole power to declare war under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the United States Constitution. Congress, the sole power to declare war. Goes on to say, Congress has not yet declared war upon or Venezuela or any person or organization within Venezuela. Friends, Congress not having declared war, a president who has declared that he visited with corporate America before taking kinetic activity in Venezuela, where do we stand? Well, the members of the Senate, 50 of them, stood with this resolution. I would stand with them. I stand with them now. 50 of them that stood for this resolution. 50 were antithetical to the resolution. When this occurs, the Vice President of the United States has a vote. The Vice President of the United States voted with those who were antithetical to this resolution. Resolution SJ Res 90. You can research and pull it up the entirety of it, and I beg that you would. So where do you stand? When the Senate of the United States of America cannot reclaim its power to declare war. And we ought to do it while we can. We're losing it. The ultimate measure of the United States Senate. What is the ultimate measure of it when it has the opportunity to reclaim its power to declare war and it doesn't?
All right, y'all. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this short right there. I want to, encourage you guys to go and check out that full entire speech from Representative Al Green. It was a really powerful speech. And I wanted y'all to hear the beginning of that. So at the end of this video, after everything that we discussed and I showed you guys here today, and that we know is going on, not just here in the United States, but worldwide, that there is hope, right? People are fighting back. People are standing up. People are speaking up. And we have to remind ourselves that there is a strength and an integrity and a courage inside each and every one of us as well. And so we don't need to lose hope and feel like all hope is gone, because it's never all gone. And again, respectfully, whatever spiritual or religious belief you have, tap into that for strength, for guidance. It's what I tap into for strength and guidance. Stand by the ones that you love. Have an open heart and feelings for others that you don't know. And just have a sense of humanity. And let's all bond together and stand together. And together we will get through this. But this is all I have for this live, y'all. I will be back this evening with some more really important reports to show y'all as well. But that's it for this one. So let me go ahead and end it with a song per usual. And I will see y'all on the next live. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for listening. And I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, or afternoon. Much love from Golden Queen. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
spirit warm. A plate of food, a mind that's free to learn. A simple piece, a righteous wage to earn. These are the needs, the bedrock and the base, the sacred ground of the whole human race. But the screaming and selling something cheap, while the real world babies cry themselves to sleep. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with a right to be loved, a right to be made whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator is where we all belong. We are human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hate purposes and the loaded dice. We're human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. They're painting pictures, twisted and real, teaching our children how they ought to feel. Their values in the label on your shoes, or the filtered life you desperately choose. They magnify the hate, they celebrate the greed and plant a poison, a suffocating weed. We gotta reach our children, pull them from the glow, and show them a beauty that the media don't know. Yo, check the vision, the mission of the television, spitting division, a mental prison. Got the youth chasing likes, addicted to the feed, ignoring the hunger, the fundamental need. They building paper idols on a digital stage, putting our future daughters in a virtual cage. Now we gotta break the cycle, gotta cut the cord. The real word is powerful, mightier than the sword. So we teach them about their history, teach them about their grace, teach them about the power in every single face. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with a right to be loved, a right to be made whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator, it's where we all belong. We are human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. Human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. We will build a world where every voice is heard and valued. Yeah. And truth is not a whisper, but a mighty, thundering word. A word of justice, a word of peace, a promise that the fight will never cease. This ain't just a track, this a call to action for every mother, father, every single fraction of the community holding it down on the ground. Time to get loud, make a revolutionary sound. Look your child in the eye, tell them that they matter, tell them their spirit's something that no lie can shatter. Tell them knowledge is the weapon, love is the shield, and the truth is the harvest we gonna grow in this field. Yeah! We are human! Yes, we are! Teach the children! Near and far! Let them know their sacred work. Fight for every single soul on this a right to live, a gift to get. Yeah. You tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queen. H2.0. Let's get it. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear. Yo, welcome to the queendom. It's 2.0 on your screen, with the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. So if you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must. This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up of the scene, spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load, from social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought. Oh, so come with your respect and see the real effect, cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned. Yeah. Don't make me unleash the dragon. You've been warned. Yeah. Don't make me unleash the dragon, you've been warned. Yeah. Golden Queen Age 2.0. The movement starts now. Go ahead. Hit subscribe, ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss a thing. Welcome to the family.